Okay, so we had some interest in this about possibly making the key to this lock. Now the problem is I don't know what the key actually looks like. I can have a good sort of guess of what the key blank would look like and how it would operate, but I don't know. This is actually discussion that would have been on there. So you see there's like a little semicircle there. Okay, it's a little semicircle on the bottom. That could be interesting because that could be telling me where the key stops. Or maybe on the very edges of inside there's some stop parts there. So maybe that's where the key stops. So what I mean by stops is how does the key know when it's at the correct depth? So here's some examples of keys. This is your traditional safe key. So when you push this into the lock, it's that flag that touches the bottom lock, tells it when it's at the correct depth, and then it will turn. On this particular pin tumbler key, that is your collar. So as that slides into the lock, it is that collar that tells it where to stop, so the pins will be aligned and turns. On the mortise lock we have this collar, same thing again, that pushes in. This one works from both sides, so that would push in, that collar would sit on the case cap and then know it's at the correct depth and can turn. A high security lock, so sometimes they get stopped by the tip, or in this particular case it's got two collars, so it tells you how deep to stop. So our first problem is, how do we tell the key how deep it is? There's a couple of older keys as well, give you another idea. So that would slide into a lock, onto a pin, that one, and that would come to a stop. Same as that's got a collar, come to a stop. Got some warded, bridge warded keys here, so again that would slide in, come to a stop, and then turn. So generally keys would use a stop somewhere, whether it's the collar or the edge of the flag. So that's what we've got to try and determine, really. So back at this lock, the question is, does that shape of the key there act as a stop? Or can we use the edges of the hole to make the key stop? So I'm going to try, I think, to use the edges of the lock. I think that's probably the best bet. The other thing is we can't get blanks for these, so we're going to have to make a blank. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, instead of making something to dimension, I'm going to make a soft key, maybe out of brass or aluminium, something along that lines, so I can make a rough key to see if it's going to work, and if successful then we'll make it on a steel key. So the main thing is just to figure out if that's going to work by using them stops. Okay, what I did, I took some measurements, written them down. So as I said, I've got some stainless, although that's 1/8 an inch, 3.2. It's not as wide as that, but it might do the job. So I've just scribed it up and I'm just going to make it somewhat dimensional, see if this will work. Okay, I'm not going to show cutting all that down, it's just simple, cut the section out. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, so I made a rough sort of key. So I've put collar stops on the edges, so there, and it comes in this sort of sitting on that edge. So it says had some like deforming or something. So these are the levers, 6 levers. I thought there was 7, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've put 7 on there. No, it should be 6, just to confuse everyone. But that's the, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. You see they've got false gates, false gates, false gates, false gates, and that's the control lever. So if we look inside, see that longer bit there? That's longer because that's the control. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start loading the levers in and lining the gate up with the side. So we will see how that goes. Okay, so we've got 3 levers in at the minute, so I'm just making sure they're pushed over. And this is what the key looks like at the moment. So 1, 2, 3. So make sure they're pushed over. I've released this spring on here, so it slides up. That allows that to come back. Okay, so we carry on doing the other 3 levers and see what it looks like. Okay, so we've just got to do the last lever now, that lever there, so that notch. So we'll fire that down and chase it in. Coming together there. Okay, so this is what we've come up with. So that would get pushed into there. Get pushed in there, and then that slides up. Okay, so now we have to sort out the shutter. So the best thing to probably do is just to reassemble it. Reassemble it with the shutter out of place, and then when the key's in there we can run a blade or something up that gap to give us a mark. So I think that's where we're going to be. Let's put that spring back on there. I'll grab some screws, put them in there. Okay, so we see if it opens without the shutter, which it does. Okay, so when that's pushed in, now we need to mark it. So I'm going to felt pen that up. And I've got a hacksaw, so we'll put that in so you don't lose it. So we are just going to cover that up. Like such. Locked. Push it in. Okay, we've got a little mark on there. Let's just check that visually. That's quite a nice wide mark. Okay, so we'll take this apart and put the shutter back in place. If I remember right, I think it covered just over 3 levers. Make sure everything's seated. Looks good. Okay, so if you can see, there are is that gap there. We're going to cut that down to about the 3rd lever, somewhere about there, I think, or just under, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so this is what we've got. Push that in, it opens. When we lock it, jumps a bit like a grasshopper lock. Like so. So our shutter's helping to stay in a little bit. Not bad, a little bit of fine tuning, but I think that's pretty good. Question is, should I make a second? I think a fatter key would be better as well. It seems to work. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.